Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are based. Hopefully you can hear me okay. If you wanted to drop anything into the chat or ask any questions, please feel free to use the panel on the right-hand side as we go. We'll give people a few minutes to join just before we make a bit of a start. So bear with us while we let people in. And this is going to be our inaugural session of the APAC Masterclass. So I hope everyone is excited, as I am, to kick this off and actually have something in a local time zone. So again, just let's give everyone a minute or two to join before we kick things off. For anyone that's just joining, hello. We're just giving people a minute or two to join before we make a start. If you do have any questions as we go, feel free to drop them in the Q&A section. Okay. Hello, I can see people joining from New Zealand. Good afternoon. We'll give people a minute or two just to let them in. Hi, Em. How you doing? Okay, I think we will make a start. So my name is Tom King. I'm Customer Success and Implementation Lead at Blink, covering APAC. I've met quite a number of you already, but for anyone that's new that's joining today, thank you for taking the time out of your morning or afternoon to join us. It's really great to be able to start to offer these sessions in a local time zone. I know it's been a long time coming, and I know it's been a big ask from quite a number of you for some time. I also wanted to take the opportunity to introduce Jess Nash. So Jess will be joining us at the beginning of October. So I'm really excited that Jess will be joining the local team. She has actually been based in the UK now for around about 4 years with Blink, so brings a huge wealth of knowledge, both in kind of the transport sector where she's been playing some key roles, but also more broadly across a whole range of different industries. So when Jess joins at the beginning of October, I will be starting to introduce her to you directly, and she'll be able to help you with anything that you might have in terms of questions or support, or actually helping you doing some of the doing, as I know for quite a number of you that kind of finding time to be able to leverage some of the functionality can be a bit of a challenge. So we'll certainly be inviting Jess to join some of the meetings or setting up some meetings so that she can meet you. The plan for today then. So I'm just going to walk through the plan for the Masterclass series for the next few months and let you know what's planned. I just want to talk to everyone a little bit about the roadshow, some of the focus areas, and then we'll talk a bit around, obviously, the next-gen onboarding or the journeys functionality. And then there'll be an opportunity for any kind of Q&A towards the end of the session. So hopefully when you registered for the original Masterclass series, you would have seen that we were just asking for some feedback in terms of the types of things that you might like to cover in these sessions. So thank you to those that did put forward some suggested ideas. What I've done for now is essentially set out for the next 3 to 4 months what it is that we're going to be covering as part of these sessions. So in October, Jess is going to be running a specific session looking at how to set up surveys and forms. In November, Laura Howard, our VP of Product, is actually going to be in Australia. So we'll be running a specific session in November to look a little bit more under the hood at the roadmap, what's coming up in the future. So I think that'll be a really exciting one, and I'd recommend, if you've got other people in the business that might be interested in seeing what's on the horizon, to get them to also register for that session. And then in December, we're going to run a session around user management, because I know for quite a number of you, you currently have a very manual way of handling your users. And the beauty of Blink is that there are actually quite a number of ways that you can automate that in a very simple, easy fashion. So it reduces a lot of that manual administrative overhead. So that session will cap out the end of the year. And then looking ahead in terms of 2026, we'll take a break in January, just because there's obviously a lot of people away or on leave. So we'll kick off again in February, and we'll start to build out probably the first 3 to 6 months in terms of what this masterclass series will look like. Again, if you have any feedback, or you have any sessions that you might particularly like us to include, feel free to reach out and let me know. Roadshow. So I have been mentioning this a lot. Hopefully you've also all received some emails inviting you to register for the roadshow. Again, a really good opportunity, a new opportunity which we've not offered before, where, as I mentioned, Laura will be in Australia, New Zealand, and we'll be coming to you to have a bit of a conversation really around whatever it is that you might want to cover off. So we're offering a couple of options. One, we can tailor a session specifically to a particular strategic issue, or we can deep dive some workshops around integration, or how you want to increase engagement, or streamlining operational issues that you may have today. Or you may actually only really want to have a smaller session where we talk in a bit more detail around new features, new functionality, and how you might want to leverage them. If you've not yet registered, which I know quite a number of you have, it would be great if you could just either register interest on the form online, or feel free just to drop me an email if that's easier. I've had quite a lot of interest so far. Time's obviously limited when you've got to also factor in travel, so I want to squeeze as many people in as possible. So again, please, if you could register your interest, ideally before the end of this month, that would be great. And then I'll be in contact just to work out specifics in terms of timings and location, and who you think might want to be invited to those sessions at your end. 2025 then, second half focus areas. I guess there's kind of 3 themes that we've really been focusing on. One around usability and stability in the product. So working to continually iterate new features, looking to resolve bugs. And we have a dedicated team that has been stood up to look at rapid delivery of some of these items. We're also very aware from a feedback loop perspective that there's some improvements that can be made there. So we're looking at anything from you guys providing feedback and how we handle that, how we respond back to you, through to support tickets, and having an understanding of, where your support ticket is in the life cycle. Do we maybe need more information from you in order to resolve the issue? Or has your ticket actually resulted in a fix being applied? So we're working, and we will continue to work on making sure that feedback loop improves. Enablement. Hopefully this is case in point, the first local webinar series, but also looking to continue to evolve these, and continuing to build on face-to-face events and other engagement opportunities. And with Jess joining, that provides me with a much welcome additional pair of hands. So we're really starting to build out, particularly locally, that engagement piece. From a product perspective, just before we kind of jump into the journeys piece, I did want to just reiterate a few of the more recent features that have been made available. If you haven't previously joined one of our product release webinars, they tend to be run in UK, North America time, but they are available to watch back on demand. But these are a really good kind of quick snippet sessions where you can go in and understand what's coming out in releases. A couple of items just probably to let you know that have been delivered recently. voice notes in chats. So you now have the ability to be able to record a message rather than writing a message, which will save your fingers if you're a little bit fed up of typing like I am sometimes. So voice notes is a really nice new feature where you can just record to send your message. Post approvals. So if as an admin, you would like to be able to moderate posts that go to your feed and review them before they're potentially posted. Post approvals is a new workflow process that's available that can be enabled. Ghostwriter is an elevation of aliases. If people have come across aliases in the past, aliases still exist, but they are more now used for departments or teams that you might want to write on behalf of. Ghostwriters have essentially been set up so that if you are a CEO or a director, you can delegate someone to have posting permissions from your profile. Offline mode is also a really new, great capability that we've added. We have customers that are working underground and above ground, so not necessarily always able to access a data connection. So offline mode essentially allows users to be able to download certain information to access on their device directly. So think policies, key training information, work instructions, things that they might want to be able to view but potentially can't when they're offline. And then there's two additional new features which are premiums, so they are add-ons, but really great additions to the product. One is live streaming. So you can now live stream directly from the feed in Blink. This doesn't require any form of integration with Teams or Zoom or any other platform. Essentially, if you have the right permissions, you can just start streaming straight away from the product itself. This recording is then available on demand to watch back. Users can comment and react to live streams. So we've seen some really good take-up with town halls or managers' meetings and things like that. Voice and video, an uplift on our chat feature, as it says on the tin, essentially enabling people to have voice or video conversations through Blink. If you do have any questions on any of the new products, or you want to find out any more information, or if you think the add-ons might potentially be of interest, please reach out, let me know. I'm happy to set up a separate time to be able to talk to you about these, make sure that you're fully aware of what they are, and if you would like a trial or to test any of those premium features, that's something that I can definitely help facilitate and set up. So next gen onboarding, journeys. So we all know that there are key stages in the employee life cycle that impact retention, particularly in those first 90 days. And that first impression is absolutely critical. And having that seamless onboarding process really does play a kind of key role in ensuring that you shape that employee experience, you're building trust, and you're also boosting that overall engagement. So the really nice thing here, if you've not come across this before, is journeys. So Blink can certainly help make the best first impression possible. So you might be asking, what are journeys? Well, journeys are pre-scheduled posts which are sent to users based upon a series of customizable triggers. Now, they can be created and edited in the admin panel. So if you're joining today and you're thinking, oh, I haven't seen these before, it may be that you just do not currently have the right level of access to be able to access journeys from the admin panel. That's a super easy fix in terms of just making sure that your org admin sets you up correctly. But I think there's probably two key things here that I will really call out that for me, customers are seeing great value in, and that's one, the automation of your onboarding workflows. So being able to set up these pre-scheduled posts so that they get sent out to your users based upon key triggers that you have set up, and ensuring that your journey is obviously a consistent experience for everyone across the organization. The other really nice thing from a consistency perspective is that you can actually tailor this information to particular audiences. So if you don't necessarily want to have a journey which is just one for your whole organization, you can set up particular journeys for particular teams, particular departments. So it can be really tailored and be very personalized to that particular user. There's really also a great opportunity to start to leverage some of our other functionality in the tool here. So as part of creating a journey, you have the ability to link it with the survey tool in Blink to be able to gather feedback on new hires. So think about feedback surveys, for example, at the end of the first week, at the end of the first month, actually proactively going out, gathering this information through Blink, and then being able to analyze that and respond directly to that particular user. How you set up journeys as well. There are also opportunities in the configuration to start to onboard people before their start date. So pre-onboarding is also possible with journeys. So it's a really nice way to be able to start to share information even before they've actually stepped foot through the door in that first day. When we talk about the types of content that goes into a journey as well, it's another way to be able to reinforce information that you already have created and set up in the hub. So, for example, policies or training material or mandatory reads. These are all information resources which you can build into your journey, and you can start to build out and share with new users as they join to make sure that, one, they're aware of it, and also they have the opportunity to be able to actually review it and read it. So how do we get this all set up then? So it's really actually very simple. So for each journey, you're going to need to determine a journey name. You're going to need to decide whether you want to start a journey based upon a start date or a registration date. Now, there's the difference here. A start date is essentially the date that you will have added to the user's profile. Now, not all of our customers provide a start date. That's absolutely fine. You can still use a registration date, but if you do provide the start date, you can actually set a journey to trigger on a start date. Registration date is essentially when they have downloaded Blink and they have logged in for the first time. So that can also be used as a trigger. Most customers typically use that registration date as being the key trigger for sending anything. You're also going to have to think about the audience or the team for the journey. So this is where you would tailor it to a particular location, a particular team, for example, and that just ensures that that audience is seeing the correct information. You're then going to have to think about the steps within your journey. So these are the key messages that you want to be posting. Now, when you're creating a step, each step will need a name. You'll need to determine the number of days after the initial trigger that this post needs to be sent. And then you can also customize the time with which that post is being sent. What you'll also have to do in order to set this up is create an alias. Now, if you haven't created an alias before, very easy. In the admin panel, you'll see a section called Publishing Profiles. From there, you can create an alias. Typically, what we tend to see is an HR team or a people team that these messages are sent for. So once you've created an alias, you'll be able to essentially select an appropriate alias that will appear to be the sender of these messages. Now, more importantly, is also the content of the message. Now, this will need a little bit of time to think about. You may obviously already have an onboarding process, which you can take as a skeleton to transition into the content. But what I would say is where we see the best type of engagement is where content is short, it's concise, it's potentially bullet pointed, or even better, if it's video-based content with key hyperlinks to the information that you want people to be able to see, it makes it super engaging and super easy for people to be able to access. So having a really good think about what you put in your journeys is really a critical component to ensure that they are well received and you get the right levels of engagement. Selecting a feed post category is also something you will have to do. So if you're not familiar with categories, Categories are selected when you're posting anything to the feed. Typically, the types of categories that you might see are social, priority, news. Now, categories, if you weren't aware, are also fully customizable. So if you're looking at your categories today and you're thinking, oh, these don't feel right, or we want to create some new categories which are more specific to a team or a department in your business, please reach out. You can't currently change categories yourself, but I can absolutely help you do that. Or if you'd like some more ideas in terms of the types of categories that you could potentially use, then again, happy to help on that side of things. A couple of other things just to kind of mention then. So I spoke before about pre-onboarding. So pre-onboarding are obviously triggers which can be sent before someone's start date into Blink. Now, there is a little bit of additional configuration that is required to make pre-boarding journeys work. But once set up, this would enable you to send early messaging to start to position this new hire in the right way. So some things that I've seen work really nicely in the past is, where do I go on my first day? Like, who's my manager? Who can I go and talk to about where to go? Who's going to be able to help me find key things at the office? As well as things that you might also want people to do before they start, such as completing a policy, signing off documentation. This is a really nice way to start to build them up, get them in, I guess give them that kind of consistent experience before they join. Another relatively new aspect of journeys, which I think sometimes people miss, but that I want to call out here, in addition to being able to being able to send users posts, if we also have the line manager information imported into Blink for that user, you can also set triggers for the line manager of this user. So this is a really nice way to be able to prompt busy people to remind them that, hey, you've got a new starter that's joined the team. Don't forget to go and say hello. Or potentially don't forget to review their end of week 1 survey that they've been completed. So it's a really nice way to be able to prompt line managers to be able to go and support these new members of staff. So building a journey where you have a range of messaging that's going to the user as well as the line manager is a really kind of comprehensive way to close out that journey and ensure that it's going to be as successful as possible. Finally then, understanding engagement with a journey. Now, if you do have access to Blink IQ, which is our analytics package, what you will be able to go in to have a bit of a look at is how well your journeys are performing. So when you go into Blink IQ, you'll find the journeys menu. You'll be able to see the different journeys that you've set up. You'll also be able to see the number of posts that were sent, the number of views, and then that overall reach. Now, it's really important to do that to ensure that, you're reviewing the content, making sure that the content is engaging, or potentially if you've got some really good showcase examples of posts that are working, you can start to emulate that elsewhere in the messaging that you're sending. Equally, if you've got posts that are not being engaged with, then that gives you a pretty good indication or a steer of where we might need to be working with you to tweak some of the messaging or just how they're presented. So again, kind of understanding kind of how those journeys are performing is going to be really critical to making sure that we maximize the benefits of this feature. If anyone's interested in Blink IQ, if you don't have that enabled at the moment, again, please reach out. Happy to have that conversation with you and just demonstrate, if needs be, what this can offer. So I guess as a bit of a wrap up then, I think Journeys is a really nice opportunity to create something which is very personalized to the new user when they're joining. So ensuring that that content is tailored to them, ensuring that it's specific to the groups that they are part of, ensuring that, that onboarding experience is very consistent across your business, and ensuring that everyone is receiving that key initial information about your business. and also ensuring that it's obviously timely and concise. So when you are creating them, do pay attention to obviously the times with which you're sending these messages. Think about that content. Think about breaking up any big paragraphs into bullet points. And if you can incorporate visuals or videos, this is again a really, really nice way to be able to provide content which is engaging and enriched with information. I guess some key takeaways as we kind of wrap things up. If you've not created a journey yet, it's super easy to do. And I would suggest that you jump in and you start to build something, even if it's just creating some initial steps which new users can start to follow. It's going to start to give you a feel for how it's not only set up, but also how staff are using it and engaging with it. If you do have a journey set up already today, I think it's a really good opportunity to go back and review that journey. Is it still current? Is the content still relevant to that audience? Do you need to make any changes to that content to potentially start to include more visuals? Or do you need different links? So if you do have journeys set up, I think take 5-10 minutes just to go and refresh them, have a look at them, ensure that they are current. If you do need any more information, obviously feel free to reach out. There's a range of materials available through our online knowledge base where you can effectively follow the steps required to set things up. But equally, if you'd like some extra help, more than happy to jump on a call, more than happy to give you some specific examples, which you can potentially look to template if you don't have anything today. So yes, journeys. Really great opportunity for you to be able to start to explore further if you haven't. But again, we'll go on to any questions. Let me have a bit of a look in the Q&A. Okay. We have got a question. Can I edit a journey? Yes, absolutely. So once you've created a journey, you can go back into a journey and tweak it as required. So if either you make a mistake or that you find that something has changed later down the line, then that's absolutely something that you can go in and make some adjustments to. That's absolutely not a problem. Examples. Look, I think example posts that we've seen, typically you would be starting with a welcome post. That's the most common one. So quite often we've seen kind of CEO videos, for example, just welcoming people to the company. It's not necessary to send a post every day, and we'd probably suggest that you stagger posts over the first couple of weeks so that you don't, overpost to this particular user, but critically that welcome post from a CEO or someone senior is a really useful way to build that engagement to start with. Signposting to key information or things that users may need to do. So for example, training, policies they might need to review. If you have created any mandatory reads, so mandatory reads within Blink could be a policy, it could be guidelines, it's something where you are asking someone to acknowledge and sign off that they've read it. So linking to anything which is really important for them to have done, so you've got that complete, is another really nice way to do it. Surveys as well. So if you want to capture feedback within the first week, the first month, it's a really nice way to be able to ensure that you are automating that process as much as practically possible. And also recognition for things like later down the line, being able to send a post associated with the fact that they've been with the organization for a year. So you can start to recognize and celebrate things like that. Any other questions that anyone has that they wish to add? Okay, that looks like it might be it. Now, I think this session had perhaps been sent out for an hour. The intention is that these sessions are 30 minutes, short snippets. So I appreciate everyone's very busy. So hopefully just giving you some initial insight into everything that is available. If you do have any further follow-up questions, please feel free, obviously, to reach out. I hope this was a good introduction to journeys. If I can be of any more assistance, reach out. I look forward to either seeing you at one of the upcoming roadshows, or feel free to obviously join us in the future for any other sessions that we're running. Thanks for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.